Hello, hello. My name is Joe, and this is the story of Melissa. She's a girl that I knew over Xbox Live back when I was 16 and she was 22. She's probably the best person I have ever known. She was unique, talented, funny, loving. She probably could have been a stand-up comedian. She probably could have been an actress. I mean, to be frank with you, she probably has these qualities to this day. We were both drama kids. She definitely could have been an actress. She probably could still be. Yeah, like I said, she's my favorite human being that I have ever known. She is what is called facially different. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, facially different is a term referring to anyone with a congenital. Sorry, I'm reading the definition here. A congenital, acquired, or episodic condition or syndrome that affects their face and or neck. When I first saw Melissa, when I first saw a picture of her over the internet, it was quite hard to tell that she was visibly different. She was so beautiful. She was like a lifelike piece of art. She always made me light up like no other soul ever did. Her personality completely would put you in awe. You would be in awe. According to her, in person, she was very quiet. She kept to herself. Very, very, very reserved. She was always in the background, always in the corner of a room. She was a homebody. I will tell you right now, humanity would be in a much better place if people like her were in the center, provided that they wanted to be, of course. If people like her were world leaders, oh my god, we'd solve so many problems so quickly. Humanity would prosper. Unfortunately, like most internet friendships, one day, randomly, she and I just suddenly stopped talking, and I've never found her since. I never did get to fully tell her. I kind of got to tell her, but I never got to fully tell her just how special of a person she was to me. I valued her ideas, her friendship, her presence, all of that so much, so much. She changed me for the better in so many ways. She made me see and value things in other people that I didn't even realize existed. This video is not just about her. It's about all of the people that society undervalues on shoddy reasoning. She and I had many late night talks about how little equality of opportunity there is in this world, especially people that are perceived as disadvantaged or people that are seen as too different. Let's circle back. Remember how I mentioned how talented she was? She could have been a voice actress too, you know. She could literally do a good James Hetfield impression. How often do you hear even a guy that's able to do a James Hetfield impression? It's such a hard voice to do. His voice is so gravelly. Yeah. I don't know. I say it's time for talent agencies to expand their horizons a little bit. Give opportunities to people that have been unfairly stepped on, like her. and ignored like her for far too long. When was the last time you saw somebody with visible differences, even in a commercial? It really doesn't happen pretty much ever. The handful of times where a facially different person gets a movie role, I mean, they almost always get casted as someone with negative qualities, or they get casted as someone who's just evil, or they get casted as a monster, and they almost never get brought back to do more movies afterwards. They just get cast aside, no matter how good they did, by the way. They almost always do a damn good job. Melissa, on the other hand, man, if I was the director, I'd cast her as the damn protagonist. I would cast her as the hero. That's what she was to me. She saved me at my darkest moments, some of my darkest moments in my life. Yeah. Facially different people can absolutely be heroes as well. It all goes back to how you see yourself when you're a kid, in my opinion. I think that's how this works. Anyone who was ever sidelined as a kid will know and remember how it felt to be cast aside due to something out of their control. You know, that's where it begins. You know, facially different kids, they deserve to see themselves in a positive light. They deserve to feel included and welcomed in this world. They deserve to be accurately represented. They deserve to have a positive, you know, they deserve to have a positive, they deserve to have a positive role model to aspire to be. We'll put it that way. That's how I feel about that side of this subject. You know, women, people like Melissa are so incredibly special and rare. You know, a guy like Tom Brady, for example, you know, he should be vying for her love. You know, a great, you know, influential, you know, guy with like a lot of social capital. A guy like that, a guy fitting that description should be vying for her love, not 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 somebody like Sydney Sweeney, you know. Yeah, I'm talking about that whole thing. I know that was a week ago, and I know that they aren't actually dating, but he tried. He tried to date her, even though he's 20 years older than her. By the way, for reference, Melissa is 33. I am now 27. That's how much time has passed. You know, Melissa made it clear that I was too young for her, which I respected. You know, she's my best friend for life, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, a guy like Tom, you know, any guy, like any great influential guy like that, any accomplished guy like that could give her such a special life. You know, when was the last time you ever saw a guy like that take a woman like Melissa on a fancy trip to Switzerland or something? I'll tell you right now, Melissa deserves to see Switzerland. People like her deserve to have these beautiful experiences in life. You know, go special places. That kind of stuff. If great men like that gave women like Melissa just a day to know more about them, you wouldn't want to have eyes or ears for anyone else. You know, that's how special she is. I suppose the point of this video is just, I feel humanity needs people like Melissa now more than ever. You know, go easier on each other. Let's get rid of this shitty bullying culture. Be kinder to each other, you know? Hold each other more accountable. When you treat somebody poorly, hold yourself accountable. Be kinder to each other. Thank you for your time.